You know, when I first heard about this manga, I couldn't help myself but to picture a group of investors and producers brainstorming a way to sell more merchandise and figures from their new project. And there, in dimly lit room, someone rolled their eyes and whispered, "Lolly figure skaters. That sure makes some money." And it seems so logical that I wonder why no one had done it before. After all, the figure skating is quite popular, with anime representation like Yuri on Ice and Skate Leading Stars, among others. True, not many. This is mainly because figure skating audience is mostly female, while men traditionally prefer sports like football, basketball, baseball, and so on. The sport manga genre is mostly read by boys, which is why there are far more manga about male sports. So when I heard about manga featuring small girls figure skaters, my first thought was, that is gonna be a slice of life story. A simple tale where cute girls doing cute stuff, and between important activities such as eating cakes and being adorable, they do some sports and win some tournaments. I might have ignored Medalist, but then the critics got involved, and Japanese critics and award judges are not those from Rotten Tomatoes, who may give 80% to Acolyte. So when I saw that the manga won the Shogakukan and Kodansha Manga Award, I realized it was worth a closer look. So good day, dear viewers, and I'm here to share my thoughts on anime and manga that deserve your attention. Today we are discussing a girl figure skaters for the manga and anime Medalist by Tsurumaikada. And on that note, let's take a closer look at the plot of the Medalist. The story revolves around 11-year-old girl named Inori. She's kind and modest girl with a big dream to become a professional figure skater, but her family and friends don't believe in her talent and thinks her dream is a waste of time, since it's too late to start a sport career. Despite this, Inori doesn't lose hope, since her family won't even pay for basic visits to the ice rink and don't let figure skating lessons. She sneaks into the rink herself. Well, more technically, she is let in by the kind old man who looks after the rink, as a thank you for helping him dig up worms for fishing. But let's be honest, he does it out of kindness, so the girl can enjoy her dream. Things take a turn when Inori accidentally meets Tsukasa. He is a former figure skater whose career ended without reaching the Olympics. He once dreamed of winning Olympic gold, but people constantly told him that he started too late, as he began skating at 14, while others started as young as 5. After losing the tournament, he switched to ice dancing, and now, at 26, he works part-time as assistant coach at the ice rink. There he noticed Inori skating, hearing the same words he once heard. "She's 11. It's too late for career in this sport." Strikes a nerve. Tsukasa decided to become her coach and do everything he can to help Inori achieve her dreams. For her it's a chance to prove her worth, and for him it's a way to fulfill his own ambitions through her success. So it became a salvation for two people the sport had nearly left behind. The manga Medalist vividly shows how tough and unfair figure skating is. It is a story full of realistic struggles, financial problems, lack of recognition, competition, and constant pressure. Inori had to work harder than anyone else to catch up with others who have been training since their childhood. The manga also highlights why figure skating is such a challenging Olympic sport. At its core are jumps and spins, which are judged based on difficulty. Besides that, artistry and how the jumps are integrated into the routine are also evaluated. Achieving all this requires strong and athletic body, which usually needs to be trained from a young age. Under Tsukasa's guidance, Inori will improve and master the complex elements of the figure skating. She becomes more confident and open. Her progress is hard-earned, but the training progress is depicted with great attention to detail and realism, making it truly engaging to follow. The relationship between Inori and Tsukasa is the heart of this story. It's not just a coach-athlete dynamic, but also a tale of trust, support, and overcoming personal fears. Both characters grow throughout the narrative. The plot also highlights other skaters, their coaches and families, showcasing their personal stories. Inori meets many other talented girls who become both rivals and sources of inspiration. The mangaka portrays them wonderfully and watching their interactions is both amusing and endearing. For example, Ryoka Miketa is depicted as a real cat with corresponding jokes and behavior. She is bold and self-assured. Emma Yamata, on the other hand, she is even quieter and more modest than Inori in the beginning of a story. Yet she also strives her hardest on the ice. People say that the talent is 90% of hard work. As viewers, we love stories that the hero surpasses a genius through sweat, blood, and effort. But what if your journey intersects with someone who has both 90% of hard work and 10% of insane genius? After all, no sports story can do without a rival, or in our case, a true competitor. Meet the Hikaru Kamisaki, and she's a real demon, a little creature with almost inhuman grace, and her life revolves around figure skating, which she's practiced tirelessly. She breathes this sport, and when she spins on the ring, everyone sees it, spectators, judges, and other participants. A player of a completely different level, confident, strong, flawless, and captivating all attention. Her coach, Jin Yadaka, is an Olympic gold medalist in figure skating who was forced to retire. He's stern, sullen, and smokes a lot. Yet behind the mask of a cold, arrogant beauty lies a pretty nice guy who can offer sound advice. And his protege, Hikaru Kamisaki, take his character traits even further. Once this small, cold, and determined demoness step off the ice, she transforms into a kind and adorable girl who cheerfully encourages everyone and strives to befriend all. It's hard to hate such a rival for her success. Instead, you find yourself rooting for her, and I believe this is a calculated move by the mangaka, highlighting that the figure skating is a unique sport where you compete not just against others, but primarily against yourself. You are your own toughest and most formidable opponent. Your turn isn't sharp enough. Your arm's movement lack of grace. This is not on your opponents. This is only on yourself. That's why this sport demands strong focus and nerves. It's especially evident how tense all the participants are then before their performance. They slowly glide to the center of a ring in complete silence, alone with their thoughts and fears. But once the spotlights shine, the music plays, and the practiced movement begins, it gets easier. Hikaru and Jin are contrasted with our main characters, Inori and Tsukasa, as if they are reflections of who they aspire to be. They are already at the level our heroes strive for, and perhaps at a place our heroes may never reach, and only Hikaru and Jin knows what it cost them. It's also intriguing how well the significant role of a coach's personality in shaping a young athlete is portrayed. Inori absorbs many elements directly from her coach. Tsukasa initially couldn't break into figure skating and took up ice dancing, where the focus is not on athletic jumps, but on the choreography. The coach's graceful movements always fascinated the girl, and she tries to copy his style, waving and combining it with athletic jumps. In this regard, the work excellently showcases both the beauty and technical complexity of the figure skating. After all, it's not just a sport, but also a means of expressing emotions. And this intense emotions has touched the hearts of both readers and critics, as I mentioned it in the beginning. So it's no surprise that such success led to the creation of an anime. ENGI is a relatively new animation studio, having been established in 2018. Despite its young, it has already made a mark with several projects, the most notable being the anime adaptation of manga Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Speaking of animation, how are things going with Blue Lock Season 2? Okay, roger that. Well, the first trailer for Medalist anime project looks promising, but it doesn't seem groundbreaking. However, the story, characters, and their interactions make it worth giving a try. Medalist is a story realistically shows the emotional and physical changes faced by characters aiming for the top in a sport. It depicts injuries, broken dreams, tons of hard work, and behind-the-scene efforts involved in figure skating. The characters face through choices and sometimes have to sacrifice their own personal lives for the sake of a sport, adding a drama to the narrative. However, they overcome these difficulties, empathizing that each athlete's main competitor is themselves. Inori learns to deal with her doubts and fears, while Tsukasa confronts his guilt over past failures. Together, they embark on a long journey filled with ups and downs. The story teaches that victory isn't just about awards. The most significant achievement is overcoming yourself and personal growth, not only as athlete, but also as a person. And yes, looking at Inori from the beginning of the story, the reader might want to wipe away a tear and say, our girl has grown so much.